In 128 million households across America, everyone is asking the same things. What if I get sick? How do I get better? How is everyone else coping? What lies ahead? Tell Me Everything, a place where all of your questions can finally get some answers.
These two women, they really have it. So what were we just saying? 15 years we know each other?
We've been having heart-to-hearts for a really
long time.
Was to create this synergistic approach of Eastern and Western medicine.
So here's my message now. What we learned from this pandemic, if you don't take care of yourself, you're in trouble.
I want to know, so how does this go together? Now, your practice here is...
Let me give you a little background on why I'm doing what I'm doing. I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease.
Wow, okay.
When I was 16, and by 19...
Stress.
My parents' only child, taken me to every physician under the sun around the world, and it was medication on top of medication on top of medication, and you're a hamster in a wheel with really no way out. And when you're left at 19 years old with having to contemplate putting a colostomy bag in your stomach, which is not okay for anyone, let alone a 19-year-old that's about to go to college, you really have to take a step back. And so, long story short, my mother called my aunt, and she said, stop everything. My aunt's a doctor in what I do, which is Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic medicine. And she said, send her to me. So I went. 2.5 months, I came back, and I was fine. And this is after 3.5 years of non-stop steroids. I mean, it was medication on top of medication on top of medication.
Did you have an intuitive inkling that this is not the way? Like, I'm not going to get better this way?
Well, yeah. I mean, by the 3rd year, I really knew that this was not working. So the steroids kept me alive. Again, never to disparage, because we need
love.
Western.
You went to India.
I didn't eat, pray, love. I definitely didn't
love.
eat.
I know.
I didn't eat much, but yeah, I definitely did a pray and a love. But knowing that this modality just saved my life, I never wanted another human being to suffer on my watch again, and so I changed trajectory. So instead of going to Western medical school, I decided to go the other way. But in doing so, I immersed myself literally in every facet of Eastern medicine. I went to Chinese medical school. I studied Ayurvedic medicine. I created my own system of yoga. I studied homeopathy. I have taught meditation. I've created meditation CDs. I wanted to really understand the full gamut of it, not just a little portion of it, the whole picture. Knowing that I can't do everything on my own, now I have a partner to be able to refer, together. That synergistic approach is so powerful.
But the other piece of it that I'm learning so much about this from Juhi is we cardiologists, gastroenterologists, whoever it is, focus on their one organ system.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's
always comorbidities. It's never just one thing, right?
I could have heart disease and die of pneumonia or stomach. I know that, and people don't know that. I get it. Oh boy, do I get it.
There's a patient who was having heart complications, and can we talk about poop for a second?
Let's.
Juhi puts her on the table and says, "Are you constipated?" And she's like, "How did you know?" Well, I don't know what Juhi did after that. I left the constipation to her, but it actually changed
Had to do with the heart?
But all of a sudden, she started absorbing medication, so her blood pressure came down. It was like this big aha of, if we don't look at people holistically, we're missing the boat.
I mean, our goal, and I don't say it because it's the two of us, I promise you, but I can very confidently say...
It's Thelma and Louise of health. Not going over any...
Totally.
This is beyond the Thelma and Louise.
I got it.
I
feel it. Yeah. Okay.
Between the both of us, it's usually we've got things covered. And I really, truly, truly believe that it's one thing to be a good doctor, but it's a whole other ballgame to be a good human.
So the 3 things in that toolbox that you would give people are?
Pure Essentials, number 1. I actually created an immunity pack for COVID. Because what is it again?
Your greatest offense is a good defense.
There she goes. Your greatest offense.
There she
It's
goes.
a sports analogy. I have no
You're a
idea.
split brain now. You're a
Yeah.
split. I see. I saw
A complete split brain.
separated at birth, joined together again.
If you keep your immune system up, you're creating an inhabitable. I mean, you're creating
You're not hosting it anymore.
You don't
right?
want to. No, you don't want to make.
You're not invited.
You're not invited. This is not the environment you want to settle in, because we are going to fight back, right? So we created an immunity pack that has quercetin, which is anti-inflammatory, turmeric, vitamin C. I mean, we've got a host of supplements, which there are so many factors that are out of our control right now. So much is out of our control. I mean, we're sitting here and we don't know what's going to happen, but focus on the things that you do control. What do you control? You control your response, right?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
There are
So
times
I say,
cannot.
start the day.
Yes.
Start your day the right way. When you wake up, try to show up as the best version of yourself, because you will think clearly. Start the day with meditation. If you can start the day with meditation and exercise, to me, that combination is really powerful.
That's
because
what I said.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I know.
Oh.
I don't
it
want
gets
this to be a sitcom. I want it to be very serious. All right, go ahead.
So it gets your head in a space, and then you can carry out the rest of
Can
your
I
day.
add prayer to that? Because I wake up, pray, meditate,
Well,
and
that's
exercise.
So when I
Yes.
meditate, I
Yes.
pray.
Yes.
I always tell people, when you meditate, find something that you like to say. This is how the gurus in India taught me. Find a prayer or a saying that you like to say that's not associated with anyone outside, and repeat it to yourself over and
mantra,
over
right, go
and
over
over
it,
again.
right.
And the minute your mind wanders, you acknowledge that thought and you start again. If you don't know what occupies your thoughts, how can you really clear your mind then? You can't. So this is a way of really being able to identify where your thoughts are, junking them, like you see the thought, throw it in the garbage, start again. And eventually, this is just a nice way to train yourself. For those that have the ability, I really recommend there is a device, and I find like this is antithesis to each other, having electronics and meditation.
Mm-hmm.
However, for those people that are struggling to learn how to meditate, there's a device called the Muse.
The Muse?
Muse.
We'll put that on the show.
Yeah, I've given it to everybody. I mean, I have.
And it does?
Children, it teaches you how to meditate because it's scanning the brain waves.
Okay.
And it shows when the mind is calm and when the mind is...
So neither of you, funny enough, although we hear it everywhere, we're not mentioning like a food or a fun thing that people do, because we are all deviants as human beings.
Turn on the music and dance.
Okay, turn on the music, dance. I said cocktail hour, something
Find what makes you happy.
Give me the fun part of not being so right about everything, because there are people saying, I know I can do that for 3 days, and then what happens is my life takes me. I want a little avenue.
Laughing. We
laugh all the time. Like the two of us, we need each other.
People are alone in the house now watching you. They're going, oh my God, I love these ladies. I can't afford to go see them. I don't live in New York. But I'm home in my house. What can I do alone to uplift my spirit without praying, meditating, eating right? I don't want to eat, a salad again. I want something that can move their soul.
Play music.
Okay.
Play music. Music has such an effect on the mind, the body, and the soul, and it gets you out of often any state that you're in.
Go back to the 80s. It does it every time.
I always say find what makes you happy and do it in moderation.
Studio 54 did it to me.
Exactly.
Now, I don't know about that.
That's what I'm saying. Just find what makes you happy.
Yes.
I have a saying, it's one of my quotes. Toxicity attracts more toxicity. Sorry, happiness attracts happiness. Toxicity attracts more toxicity. Stay clear of people, places, and things that make you unhappy. Full stop, period. So right now, this is a great time to exercise that motto, and also enjoy what is around you. Do the things that you have control over, and don't listen to the news, because that will really affect you.
How do you both see the future of people's health, people's happiness, how do you see it?
I personally believe this is a reset for the whole world. I can't tell you how many times.
And the percentage of people going to take it that way, what do you see?
They better take it that way, because if they don't, it's not going to work. I mean, I'm being very honest.
I agree.
There were a lot of,
and I say the amount of people affected.
Professionally, personally, all around. I mean, we were all operating at a level that was not normal for anybody. Most of us were, at least I should say. And this was a big time out, I believe, to make you understand what is important to you and where should you focus your energy and your attention on. What do you need to be doing to make yourself happy? You know, I think a lot of us just got caught up in the doing and not the feeling, or the listening and not the hearing. So it's a whole sort of smorgasbord. But this winter, certain precautions that you should take across the board until we're through this, because you just never wear a mask. Just wear a mask.
And you, my dear?
You know, I look at the winter time, and every fall coming up to winter, it's always an increase in people getting sick for multiple different reasons. And I think this year is no different, with risks that are higher. I remember one of my son's teachers said to the kids, you can either be a stick or you can be a pipe cleaner.
Oh,
and a stick, it's going to break, and a pipe cleaner is going to bend. And I think this is really the time that we learn how to bend and become flexible. Find health, wellness, and goodness in everything you can. You know, it's that old saying, glass half full or half empty.
Yes.
How are we going to get up every day? How are we going to look at every single solitary day?
I'm going to tell you how. Put your hand. Come on, ladies. We're all good.
Did you watch them?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Ready? There is no greater force in this world than women who want to get it done.
Oh, and
I
we
have
do.
met two of them here today, including myself, and we're going to get this done, right?
Yes, we are.
One person at a time,
Yes, we
one
are.
heart at a time, one mind at a time.
Absolutely.
All for health, ladies.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know if the public knows about Richard Ashe, but you know, sometimes there's somebody in the world that you meet that just has this certain something. And now I think we're all walking this earth looking for something to heal, somebody to heal us, and all that. And you said something to me now that I just want you to say out loud to people.
Sure.
This will pass.
This will pass. Like everything else in life, it will pass. And the one thing that we have to remember is collectively, we really, the entire world is in this together.
That said, it's scary.
Of course
I mean, I'm of an age where this is not life in any way that I've ever known it. And yet you say this too shall pass?
This too shall pass. Everything passes. Nothing in life is static. Everything in life is up and down. Nothing is linear. Healing is never linear. But take this time. Take it as a lesson. And I very firmly believe that we're taught lessons in life. And if we don't fully learn the lesson, it will come back in a different name, in a different form, in a different shape. As you get older, I believe the stakes just keep getting higher. Understand and really appreciate what you have right now. Take a very good look at the people that are around you. Take a very good look at what you're doing to yourself. Are you doing things that are better for yourself, or are you doing things that are worse for yourself? And you can only fix or change when you realize, right? How can you fix something if you don't even know where it's broken?
Introspection, the greatest flashlight of all. I agree.
Right? Make sure you're sleeping. Sleep is so important right now, especially. Make sure your immune system is up. Make sure you are meditating. I just gave you 3 things that you can do across the board. I don't care where you are in this world, whether you can come to New York City and see us, or you can't, or you're in the Midwest and have never gotten on a plane before. I want you to know that there is something that every single human being can do to make themselves better. We don't have tomorrow, and we don't have yesterday. We have only today, right? If you focus on something that hasn't happened, you're putting energy into something, again, we don't know what's going to happen.
Well, you found your
Today.
purpose. So
Yeah.
so that's a very grounding thing. Now there are people now that lost their job,
Yeah.
purposeless anyway, COVID giving them a bigger berth to fall into, a chasm, so to speak. But having found that purpose, you can anchor. Without the purpose, how does one, on a spiritual, now no medicine, how does one go about saying, what is my purpose?
There's a saying, people will pay any amount of money to not have to look at themselves in the mirror. I say you need to pay any amount of money to look at yourself in the mirror.
I love that.
Right? Again, you can't fix it if you don't know where it's broken. You need to take a deep dive inside, a deep, deep, deep dive inside, and figure out, once again, I ask my patients all the time, what makes you happy? And I can't tell you how many times people struggle to give me an answer. And that in and of itself is very sad. I do a lot of charity work. For example, I go to Haiti. I was going to Haiti every 6 to 8 weeks.
Wow, God bless.
This is where I find my happy. That's my purpose in life.
So everyone's displaced from their
Everybody's
life.
displaced
Yes.
across the board.
Everybody. Up and down economically, up and down in everything. They're out.
So look at it, how about we change the perspective? And why don't we look at it as a revamp almost? And you only can do that work. Of course, we're all here to help guide along the way, but find your people. And it's always very interesting. In times of stress and distress, you really truly find your people. So gather the silver linings from this and use this moving forward as to what you don't want to do again. In terms of what didn't suit you in your past, let it go so that you carve out this new future for yourself. And you get to carve it the way you want to. I have another saying. I always think of a spool of yarn. And I say, sometimes you have to come undone to be respun. So the spool of yarn is how you're birthed. This is what you're given, right? And then throughout life, it comes undone.
I lived that one. I know exactly what you're saying. You have to come undone.
Yeah, now lay that yarn back the way that you want to lay it. You have the control. You have the power.
So the reason why we call this show Tell Me Everything was because if you could tell somebody everything, you unburden yourself. You're not going to carry that every day. It's not going to be so heavy anymore because it's only what's heavy that you can't carry. What's light, you carry.
Absolutely.
You actually pack it for you. I can't thank you enough for letting us come here, for having both of you tell us everything.
Thank you.
And for knowing that what you're going to do in the future with people who watch you, who come to see you, who will get to know you, you will let them tell you everything.
I thank you.
And you will take it upon yourself.
I thank you.
I thank you from my heart. Oh my.
Oh
okay.
my.
We are in sacred space now.
Yes, we are.
Tony.
Pamela.
Intuitive Tony.
Intuitive Pamela. Heartfelt, amazing being Pamela. What's up?
I'm going to start with tell me everything, Tony. But first, let's tell me everything about you. And then I'm going to go take it a little wider, wider, wider.
Are you on the elevator pitch as to who Tony LeRoy is?
Who Tony is.
Ah.
Tell the world who Tony is.
My name is Tony LeRoy. I'm an intuitive counselor. I've been doing this. Someone asked me the other day, and so I've been basically doing this since, I was 20, right? And someone asked me the other day, how long have you been doing this? And I was like, 20 years. And then I realized I needed to do some extra math and add some more years to that. Wow. I was born with disability. I'm incredibly empathic. When I was 3 years old, I was in my mom's living room and I first experienced seeing my grandmother who passed away, who I didn't know. And she told me this whole story about what was going on with my mom. And I explained it to my mom. Freaked my mom out a little bit, and really early on, I really learned how to kind of that, I see things in a certain way and a lot of people see it in a different way. And
did you know you were seeing things?
Yeah, so all of this happened and, life brings you your teachers and I started
So there was never a battle inside you like, I can't do this, I feel unmoored by it?
I still have more of a battle now than I did back then. you know, if we're in a social situation
Right.
and someone asks, "What do you do?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm a life coach."
So what do
Absolutely.
people want to know the most? I mean, like somebody hears, look at this guy, he's a clairvoyant, he really
Mhm.
knows his stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I really want to know? What are the 3 questions people
I mean,
always will
there's
ask you?
always. I mean, it depends also if you're speaking to a man or a woman, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
What do
you
we
know,
get?
guys want to know about work. They
Okay.
want to know about, you know, typical
Yes.
like, am I safe? Am I able to provide for my family? Um, you know, what's going to happen with my career? You know,
So nothing inside with men. Not
not
nothing, but you know
well.
what I mean.
Usually then. But here's the thing: the way I work, right? If you really want to know about your career, you have to go work on who you are inside, right? If you really want to work on what's going on with your relationships, you have to work on who you are inside. Same with women, right? Like love is usually the first thing.
Yes.
Career actually is pretty much the second, and friendships with women, like how they connect with their community. But
And older, younger? Like when you get older, is
yeah, I mean,
there a certain way you want to look at the world and get this answer as an urgency than when you're
these are great
younger?
questions. I actually never clocked it, so I'm like
That's why
looking
we're
at it.
together,
Thank you
Tony.
so much. Let me go into my head and ponder. Yeah, actually, you know, like older people really want to know um, about their community, their family relationships, and the younger people are more me
Yeah.
centered. Yeah, so yeah.
On behalf of everybody watching that I could feel
Hmm.
wanting to know,
Okay.
how does the future look with this?
So I can't really predict it, to be honest. I can say, sure, there's going to be a vaccine by the end of the year. I can say, sure, there's going to be X, Y, and Z. But it really depends on people and consciousness. And right now, people are so afraid. And so for me to kind of like predict something globally, which is not my strong suit, to be honest,
Right.
like
You're more
when it came,
personal.
yeah, I'm more of, as you said, the personal person. And I'm not even interested in that. You know what I mean? I think we create our realities, we create our outcomes. And you can see that, right? New York, when it came to this pandemic, we hunkered down, we folled rules, we're in a
We
better,
went to camp all together,
we
right?
really did, you know,
It was
and
the
we're in a better
campgrounds, I
place
called it. Yes.
than a lot of the world. Yet the country on the whole is
And I
different.
know you teach people, I know you have online meditation,
Yes,
and
I
you
do.
really teach people how to calm it all
Yeah, I
down.
do a monthly. I like as a gift because, like, you know, during, you know, like everybody was home and everybody was like with their kids, or you know, like hearing sirens every 5 seconds. I decided that I was going to, as a gift, as a necessity, I created this kind of like meditation, and I do it on Instagram and Zoom and Facebook and all that kind of stuff. And I still continue to do it now. It's like once or twice a week, people can tune in, free or donation, whatever you want to do, and we do 45 minutes of meditation. I do a guided meditation.
So, as an offering to the world now,
Yeah.
we're going to make it?
Yeah, absolutely. There's no question. When I tune into this from the very
Yeah.
beginning of this,
Yeah.
from the very beginning, I said sirens, and now it's like, right? From the very beginning of this, I actually felt very positive. I still feel very positive about this. I mean, like, if you can see what has come up, it's like more people are in touch with themselves. More people are recognizing kind of like the difference between you and me, and the fact that you matter and that I matter, you know?
Yes.
The fact that there are, you know, I cannot stand for injustice. People are really starting to speak their truth
Oh, I feel
in
that
ways
too.
that like they haven't been able to do before. And that we were so, what's the words, right? We were so in our own heads, right? The world.
We were consumed with ourselves.
Absolutely, so in
I
our own
agree.
heads. Also distracted by all kinds of things, right? And those distractions are still there. And you know, I tell people turn off the news, please, and you know, come back inside, breathe, find out who you are, check in with yourself, you know, because that is going to help you feel better.
I want to dispel something because it's always been my way that when you get a reading, people, I don't want to know. Then
Yeah.
I'll know if I'm dying. Then I'll know if this.
Yeah,
Then I'll
yeah,
know. I said, no, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
And I know for me, and this
Mhm.
is very personal, whenever I've gotten a reading in my life, and I have had many, and I have given readings,
Mhm.
it always brought me back to what I knew inside that could have some light and safety
Mhm.
by seeing it and hearing it and then joining on it.
Mhm.
And how would you help those to get in touch with their own intuition first?
First, breathe. First, take a deep breath. Just come, feel who you are. Feel what's happening with your body. What am I feeling emotionally? What am I feeling physically? What am I feeling mentally? Where's my mind going? You know, when I think about so and so, what happens to my body? When I think about so and so, what happens to my brain? When I think about so and so, what, you know, like where do I go emotionally? And just track it. Just be aware of it. You know, and that really starts with the breath. Oh wow. I'm sitting here with Pamela. Feels good. This feels good. Oh, wow. What's going to happen with this television show?
I was just going to ask you
That
that.
feels really good.
Come on, does
Yeah,
it?
it really does. It really
Will we
feels
get
good.
some more?
Yeah, absolutely. It feels great.
Okay.
And so you know, it's kind of like, that's the very first thing. Now, how do we do that with the person that in this moment is feeling really anxious, in this
Right.
moment is feeling really freaked out, in this moment is worried about tomorrow, right? Well, this is where I say you have to engage the witness, right?
Okay.
Like really allow yourself to constantly say, you know what, I'm going to allow myself to witness this experience right here.
I know I could ask you to tell me everything.
Yeah.
But tell me one thing. I want to go today.
About?
I don't know. You tell me.
The bigger challenge is recognizing who you are, and do you want to go down that road, and taking responsibility so you can make that change for yourself. And
What I got to know in 2020 is what I don't want. And so it leaves the
Yeah.
window of what I do want
Absolutely.
very, very clear.
Absolutely.
And what I do want is to know you for a long time. I want other people to really know you and get to know themselves through you, because you are a great channel for that.
Thank you.
You told me everything.
Yeah.
And you even told me without telling me, which is the best way to know of all.
Here's the thing, and also just so you know for future, right? If you ask anyone a direct question, a really clear direct question, the answer comes. When you ask a big kind of like open-ended question
I'm
like
not
that.
going to do that on TV. I have a million direct questions for you. But I'm going to let you keep them a secret, as I will.
Don't tell anybody anything.
Tony,
Yes.
it was always.
You are an amazing gift.
So now I know that breathing is the best medicine, along with sleep, along with happiness and music and dance, and knowing what I know inside to trust it. Having been around this little campsite of alternative healthcare for a long time, I feel like a beginner today. I did learn. I did hear things in a different way. I don't know if it's COVID conversation and I am opened up all over again, but I just loved our guests and love what they had to say. And I can feel our audience basking in maybe a new way to think about things.
You know, in the last several days of my life, I've made some serious changes. You know this. We've talked about it. I almost broke down in tears when these people were talking about this today, because I've known that I had to make major change in my life.
This was our mission when we started. We got a little side rail with COVID and what we could do and what we couldn't do. But today I think we achieved what we really had in our hearts to do, which was to help people empower themselves to feel better, to look at themselves better, and to look at the world as better. So I don't know about you, but I feel very full, but I'm hungry. You want to go eat?
No, we're not done yet, Pamela. This is going on and on.
All right, but I'm hungry. You want to go eat?
Oh, I'm starving.
All right,
Let's
go
go to
eat.
the restaurant.
All right, let's go.